Morning gang, and welcome once again to Hollywood Hills as we close in on the end of what can only be described as an insane season. And it's because everything's been crowbarred into pretty much the last 3 months of the year, which meant championships were always going to be nail biters. Now, this week we're focusing in on the GXCCs because obviously we're going this weekend to Delmas, the first time we've been to this massive, gargantuan, huge farm, which we know we're going to be using into the 2021 season. But right now, we're getting ourselves ready to wrap up the championship at round number 5 of what was supposed to be an 8-round championship. So let's talk about the championship at GXCCs. Already, quite a few of these have actually been decided, or they're pretty much decided already. It's so close to the bone. But there are 6 championships at the moment that are going to be nail biters and will be decided by either of these riders. So we're going to focus on these categories where there's 2 riders in it. And whoever beats the other on the day or has the better result on the day is going to walk away as the champions. Let's open things up with the big bangers. So the OR1 Pro category has been an interesting situation. There's been a couple of champions throughout the years. JC Nienaber had his untouchable season 2 seasons back. Last year, it was all about the dart. And then this year, the name at the top of the pile most of the time has been Delport. Sure, at the beginning of the season, Pentecost and Miller were there in the mix, but Captain Consistency was there to pay the bills every single time. And Delport has been the man. He unfortunately lost that championship lead at the penultimate round to Ruan Smith. And the numbers are so thin, it is absolutely terrifying. There is 1 single point in it to the advantage of Ruan Smith. So it all comes down to this race at Delmas to see who's going to decide that one. JC has got himself up into a number 3 spot now, but really it's a 2-horse race out front. Very interesting. Then in the OR2s, that is the 350 races, there is one man that's been at the top of the pile for many years, and that is the Brawler. Last year, he was duking it out the whole way through with his sparring partner, JJ, and this time around, JJ took a sabbatical to concentrate on life, marriage, and work, and all those wonderful things away from racing. We can't wait to have him back. But Brawler is on point at the moment to take the championship. But the late season form has been Taki. Taki has been extremely strong, and he is closing things down. With Jason Fenter retiring early this year, looks like he's done with the sport. We hope to see Jason back. Hopefully he can sort out his issues there and come back racing, because he really should have been in it for the championship as well. Now it's become a 2-horse race in the OR2s between the Brawler, who has the advantage at the moment, over Taki. Let's look at the junior categories as well, because a lot of the junior categories are decided or all but decided. But in the junior 85s, this is going to be the situation. Curtis Bester has been the man the whole way through the season on this gate, taking more wins than anyone else. But the late season form has come from Troy, the Destroyer Johnson. And Johnson now holds the advantage. He has got, count them, 4 points advantage over Bester at the moment. So that pretty much means Bester has got to beat him, and Destroyer has got to finish lower than 3rd place to lose the championship. And it will be his first championship as well. So very interesting situation starting to unfold there. And we're going to keep an eye on that one. Back onto the 2-wheelers just for a second in the senior categories. Joan Niebuhr has been absolutely dominating this season in the OR2 Pro-Ams and didn't look like he was going to actually lose a race until Racemeer built. He had mechanicals on the day and had to settle for a low position that he's used to finishing. That gave Dion van der Merwe his first win of the championship, as he's been bridesmaid the whole way through the season, taking second the whole way through. Racemeer built, got some fire in his belly, he got the win, and now he's starting to close things down on Niebuhr. Check out these numbers as well. It is thin. Jean Niebuhr has 95, Dion has 87. So it's probably still a strong advantage for Niebuhr at the moment, but Dion is carrying all the momentum forward into this final race. So it is, as we say, and this week's show is a nail biter. Check out the numbers in the quads as well. Q1s, looks like Gideon Jacobs has done enough so far this season to keep his blade sharp and stay out front. But Keenan Hammond is coming forward with some real good pace in these last couple of races. In fact, the last 2 races have all been about Keenan, really showing incredible form. He just took the win the previous weekend at Farm Jam as well, showing that his pace is still good and his machine is still good. And the numbers are still to the tune of Gideon Jacobs holding form at the moment. Check this out. So Jacobs at the moment is on a 91, Keenan on an 85. So for the maths out there, Jacobs could get away with maybe a top 6 or 7 finish with Keenan taking the win, but realistically, just to keep safe, it's going to have to be a top 3 for Jacobs to be able to claim back his championship that he lost to Hammond last year. And then for me, this is another one, very much like the Pro OR1 Big Bangers, where Ruan Smith and Dalport are going at it, separated by 1 point. This is just a 2-point separation, and this is for the Q2 championship. And we'll see, no matter which way this cuts, a new champion being crowned as well. So the Q2s has always been the open class, and there's been players like Hannes Simon. He really dominated this category for many, many years. And then as he stepped away to focus on the two-wheelers, a couple of new bloods started to come to the fore. David Stradum was pretty much the champion-elect this year. Unfortunately, his mechanicals at Racemere Built dropped him out of this one. He's not going to be featuring for the championship. He may still be able to recover for a third possibility of a third place or a second if anything goes wrong with the 2 front runners. But the 2 front runners at the moment is CD Goosen. CD has really become the ultimate rider since he got that development going on his fast KTM. They crowbarred those 500 motors from the 2 wheels into the bikes, and they have been running on point. He got his win going at one of the club events, and then he got his win at GXCC as well. And he's starting to really climb the ladder. Ati had the form in the early part of the season. Second half of the season has been about CD Goosen. And check these numbers. CD leads by 2 points on 89 points ahead of Ati on 87. Nail biters. Not that we're not going to focus on anyone else, because there are still other championships to get decided. But for this week's show, those are the big nail biters that we're going to keep our eye on. And those will be the elbows up races when we go into Delmas. So let's talk about Delmas, a brand new venue for the GXCCs. So as we mentioned in the early part of this video, a brand new venue for Delmas, the final round, round number 5 of the GXCCs. And it does look like they've saved the best till last. It's a brand new farm. No one's ever raced on this farm, and we're going to be racing on this farm for a couple of years as well. And by the description from Viana Miranda, it sounds like this farm is so absolutely gigantic that we may actually be able to race for the next couple of years on this farm and never touch a track that we've raced on before. That's how absolutely massive it is. It's so big, apparently, that they have to have 6 or 7 farm managers. It's absolutely huge. They've got a lot of chicken, they farm chickens, they plant chickens, and they grow chickens, and they raise mealies. That's the way it's said. So the terrain out there does look absolutely mint, and we've been absolutely blessed with this early season rain, and it looks like it's going to be a rainy one this weekend as well. Even if it doesn't rain, we've had so much rain out there that it is going to be an absolute pearler of a race. It may actually be the one wet race, or moist race as I like to say, where we won't see too much standing water, but with that we are going to have 2 river crossings. There's no road crossings because we're going to cross under the bridges, and you'll check out the visuals that we've got there. We've got Tweespur roads. In fact, one of the river crossings is going to be a key feature. It does sound like it's pretty steep getting out the other side. So it's going to be momentum, and maybe by the 2nd or 3rd lap, that thing's going to be chewed up and it's going to cause some big issues. Believe me, I'm sending the LiveX TV crew to this point. You've got to know it. There's going to be absolutely amazing terrain to work with. Just over 51 kilometers for the big loop for the quads and the big bikes, and then for the junior loop, a 17.5 kilometer loop. Lots of grasslands to work with, lots of tweespur, as the guys like to call it, and a little bit of rocks, but nothing too nasty. And to be fair, it's going to be lovely, soft, loamy, quite deep sand in a couple of areas as well. Delmas kind of like bordering the Bronkhorstspruit and Bapsfontein areas. So we're always going to get a little bit of that loam. And for the bar draggers, you guys are going to absolutely love this. Make sure you got fresh rubber on though, guys. You are definitely going to need every single bit of traction. Try not to use the tear-offs as well. Let's be friends to the environment. Let's go roll-offs for this one. Make sure you got plenty of spare gloves, spare goggles, and spare hydration packs for the changeovers as well. Also, for the guys that are going to be running out there, make sure that you have your kit bags with you. We're not going to go too far away from the pits. From what I believe, the furthest point is going to be a 20-kilometer distance from the pits to the furthest point of the track. So very much sounds like Vion's got his A game on, and it's going to be running cloverleaf situation. So we'll run quite close to the pits quite a lot of the time. 2 river crossings, plenty of crossings under the road, and just absolutely amazing terrain to work with. We cannot wait to get out there. By all counts though, it does sound like it's going to rain on us, so make sure you've got your wet weather gear. All the guys with all the tricks of the trade will know exactly what to do. from my point of view, if it's cold in the morning for the quaddies and the juniors, just remember to get those rubber gloves out, wear them underneath your main gloves, and maybe wear a buff underneath as well so you don't get too wet when you do the river crossings. And the old magic checkers packets over your socks into your boots. Try and keep your feet a little bit drier as well through... if you want to know any more tricks, by the way, the best guy to ask is Wayne Farmer. He's got all those magic tricks of the trade. And as well, try and run the higher hand guards as well. It'll keep your hands dry so you don't pick up too much roost off the terrain or the back wheel of the riders in front of you. But the best tip I can give you is get the whole shot. Then there's no roost at all. All right, guys, we are closing in on the end of 2020. Cannot wait for 2021. Already starting to see provisional calendars coming out. So as soon as those actually get dried up in ink, we'll be able to announce them to you. But for now, just pumped about wrapping up the championship and seeing you guys out on a brand new farm. For now, from Hollywood Hills, me and the boys from Livex will be out there, fresh, good to go. Cannot wait to see you bright and early on Saturday. Cheers. Our deepest condolences to the Alexander family after the passing of Charles this weekend, a friend to Hollywood Hills and the GXCC and racing community as a whole. Our thoughts are with you all.